On November 16th, one of boxing's brightest young stars, right? He's already a star. He's on a path to superstardom. Shakur Stevenson makes his return to the ring as he faces a tough opponent in Edwin De Los Santos. A fight that it took a lot to get here. This wasn't the original opponent for this date for Shakur. But come the 16th, that's who he's going to be in the ring against. Not going to be a pushover either. Shakur's going to have to bring it. Santos is a tough fighter, and Shakur's going to have to make a statement. I'm going to get into why he needs to make a statement this fight. But either way, we have Shakur Stevenson back in the ring come November 16th, and I'm going to preview it right here on the Never Drop Podcast. Before I go any further, make sure you press that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment who do you think is going to win this fight, comment how do you think they're going to win this fight. Make sure you subscribe on the Never Drop Podcast YouTube and follow the Never Drop Podcast wherever you get your podcast. But back to the fight. Shakur Stevenson, man, we know how great this kid is. He's among the list right now of the best fighters in the game, and he's so young and hasn't even accomplished what we expect him to accomplish yet. Fighting at his second fight at 135, he's going up against Edwin De Los Santos, a fighter himself who's called Shakur out. First, let's look at the numbers before we get real deep into this fight. Shakur, 20-0, 10 knockouts, 26 years old, has a height of 5'7", and a 68-inch reach. We do know Shakur likes to box. He likes to kind of control from the outside, get his jabs off, really control the pace, control the distance. We're going to see how he does in this fight. Santos is going to want to bring the fight to Shakur, I believe. And Santos has good movement, which I'll talk about, to maybe cause Shakur some issues on offense. We haven't seen Shakur really have to deal with many issues in his boxing career. Is Santos going to bring some? Looking at Shakur's last fight, he fought back on April 8th against Shoichiro Yoshino, a fight which was complete domination from Shakur, won by TKO in the 6th. I believe he knocked him down like 3 times. It was just complete domination as Yoshino didn't stand a chance against Shakur. If we're going to be completely honest here, he didn't stand a chance. And Shakur did what he had to do. Got the TKO, got the knockout, and kept it moving. That was back before Haney fought Loma. So Shakur called out Haney. We'll get into that a little bit here later on. But that was, we were thinking, maybe is the Haney fight next for Shakur. Clearly, looking down the months down the line, 7 months later, it wasn't. But either way, it was an impressive debut at lightweight. Edwin De Los Santos, 16-1, 14 wins by way of knockout. 2 years younger, he's 24, has a height of 5'8", and a reach of 70 inches. So barely he has both the advantage in height and reach. I don't think that will play too much of a factor in this fight. Santos having the edge in that. I think it'll really be Shakur controlling the pace and the distance in this fight. So I don't think those will play too much of a factor. Looking at Santos, he's had some impressive wins. His last fight was against Joseph Adorno back in July, back on July 8th. I talked about Shakur having a dominant performance. Santos had a dominant performance. He won by UD, unanimous decision. But for the scorecards, 2 of the judges had it a shutout, 10-0, and another judge had it 9-1. So complete domination by Santos in that fight. And then the fight before, if you guys know the prospect, now he's not a prospect, he is now a fighter, Jose Valenzuela, aka Rayo. Santos knocked him out in the 3rd round back last year. That was before Rayo lost to Chris Colbert in a highly contested fight. I believe they might do a rematch to that. This was the fight that Rayo was a top prospect, and this knocked him down a peg, and that was because of what Santos did in that fight. I believe knocked him down 2 times and then finally knocked him out. That was back September last year, so Santos has some power, and he's done it against solid competition. This isn't a pushover fight for Shakur. Even though we're not getting Devin Haney or Frank Martin, Santos is no pushover. He's a good fighter, and he's wanted this fight. That's the important part. A lot of people haven't wanted to fight Shakur. He wants to fight Shakur. Santos, he's going to come in here, and I don't think he's going to give Shakur the respect that other fighters give him, and that's a good thing for Santos, because a lot of fighters, when they go up against that top guy, they come out and they give him respect because they're scared. I think Santos is going to come out and throw punches. That's what he does. He has good head movement. He throws punches. I think he's going to try and mix it up with Shakur. I really do. He keeps his head moving, so when he comes inside, like I mentioned, he's going to keep his head moving, maybe cause Shakur to have to think, okay, where's he going? Where's he going to be at? And maybe Shakur gets a little flustered on offense, right? Because Shakur's done what he's wanted to for most of his career. Offensively, and Shakur is great defensively too. But I just think maybe Santos might have Shakur go back to his corner and think, what's game plan B? Or what else do we want to do? Because this might not be working. Santos has some power, which is good because if we look at Yoshino didn't have any power for Shakur. Shakur walked him down the entire night. I think Santos is going to throw some punches, and Shakur is going to have to commit, okay, do I want to box from the outside, or do I want to fight on the inside? Because I don't think he can do a mixture of both. I don't think he can walk in and then walk out whenever he wants. I think he's going to decide early and feel the punches maybe and say, okay, let's fight from the outside because I can outbox almost anyone. Or he's going to say, okay, maybe he doesn't hit as hard as I want. Let's fight from the inside and let's have a firefight. Most likely, I think Shakur is going to say, I'm going to fight from the outside here. Let's box from the outside, and I'll prove to y'all, everybody, why I'm one of the best boxers in the sport. How we got to this fight, man. So originally, we all know, I've covered in previous videos, you can go back and listen and watch. Shakur was going to fight Frank Martin. Well, actually, we can go even before that. Stevenson versus Haney, one of the biggest fights in boxing. So it's been told Haney offered Shakur 25%. Haney said, I'm the undisputed champ. You don't bring anything to the table. You get 25%, which Haney has said that's 4 times what he's made in his last 4 fights combined, right? He's saying he would give him the biggest payday, and if he really believed in himself, he'd take the 25%. It's been said Shakur came back, said 50%. Haney said no. Haney moved on to 140 and Regis Prograis, and Shakur decided to go in a different direction. This is one of the reasons I think Shakur needs to make a statement this fight. The amount of talking he does on Twitter, Instagram, social media, see, I don't have a problem with it. In fact, I love when fighters talk and interact with each other and talk trash to each other. I love it. But it feels like people more and more are turning against Shakur because of the way he's talking. It's just a weird feeling I'm seeing online. And of course, online, that's not real life. But it feels like a lot of people are kind of getting sick of Shakur being up there with the greats, right? People are saying, hey, Shakur can beat anyone, when he hasn't been in the ring with anyone to really test him, right? They're saying he'd beat Haney, Tank Davis, and some of his best wins are Oscar Valdez, who's a good fighter, right? He's fought Yoshino. That's his only 135 competition. And they're like, oh, he's already the best lightweight. People are sick of seeing that. And then people are sick of seeing Shakur constantly. Every day he's on Twitter. And I do like the trash talking, different talking, but sometimes it gets excessive. Every day he's responding to someone, going back and forth with people, calling people out. I think to a degree people want to see him perform. Put his fist where his words are, right? See him knock someone out. Do what he needs to do to get a big victory. I truly think that that's why Shakur needs to put up a great performance in this fight. He needs a statement win against Santos, who's called him out. Santos has been calling him out for a while. I saw something back in 2022 he was calling him out, saying he'd knock out Shakur. So when the Frank Martin fight fell through, because Frank pulled out last second, the only real option left was Santos. And again, I should have mentioned this at the start. This fight's on a Thursday because ESPN, Top Rank, they're trying to promote F1, the new racing stuff that's happening that weekend in Vegas. So they have Shakur on a Thursday. Going to continue with their notion of what they believe in Shakur. I think he needs to knock out this fight. But for my prediction, even though I think Santos is a good fighter, I think he's going to pose a problem or two for Shakur. I think he's going to make Shakur think like, okay, maybe plan A isn't going the exact way I want to. Let's dip into plan B. Because we haven't seen Shakur do that. I think Shakur might have to do that in this fight. But either way, I'm going Shakur unanimous decision in this fight. And I think Shakur, maybe early on, will have a little bit of trouble. But I think as the later the fight goes, he'll adapt and it'll just be Shakur Stevenson and dominate. Because while I'm saying all these things, people are sick of him not dominating or being boring or talking. At the end of the day, Shakur's an amazing boxer. He's a great boxer. We just want to see him against the best, right? And part of it isn't his fault because these guys don't really want to fight him. Props to Santos. He wants to fight Shakur, and he's saying he's going to be the guy to stop Shakur and really ruin his career. The momentum he has, he says, I'm the guy at 135 that should be getting the good fights, not Shakur. So props to Santos for taking this fight and wanting this fight and saying he's going to beat Shakur. I think it's going to be a good fight, but I think Shakur's going to come out on top fairly smoothly. It won't be easy, but I think it'll be smooth. Maybe rocky at the start, but smooth. Shakur, he's got big things going for him. Just signed a deal with Reebok. That's Allen Iverson and Shaquille O'Neal saying they want Shakur on their team, right? That's president and vice president that over there at Reebok saying, we pick Shakur to be on our team. That Haney fight's going to happen. I think in 2 to 3 years it'll happen, but it's going to happen. And to make it happen, come Thursday, November 16th, This is the first step for Shakur to make that fight happen. Maybe the Tank fight comes sooner, but for Shakur, he needs to take care of business against Santos, who's no slouch. He's no slouch. And I think Shakur's ready. I think Shakur's locked in. He's ready to prove everyone on the internet who talks bad about him wrong. And I think he's going to do it. So I got Shakur by UD, unanimous decision. And I'll be interested because we know Devin Haney fights a few weeks later. What's Devin going to have to say about it? And what Shakur's going to have to say to Devin? They've been going back and forth, feels like every week. Hey, let's see who does what in the ring. They're both fighting near each other. And then they take care of their business. Down the line, we're going to get them in the ring against each other. First to Santos, Shakur's got to take care of, and I think he does. This has been the Never Drop Podcast. I appreciate you listening in. Again, if you're still listening, make sure you subscribe, man. Subscribe, hit that like button, comment. Who do you think is going to win this fight? How do you think they're going to win this fight? Do you want to see Shakur versus Devin? I imagine everyone's going to say yes to that. Let me know who wins that fight. But again, don't overlook Edwin De Los Santos. He's a solid fighter that might pose some threats for Shakur. Don't be surprised if he does. But make sure you subscribe to Never Drop Podcast. I'm covering all these fights. Got Benavidez versus Andre a week later. I'm covering that one. Covering the post-fight analysis of Shakur Santos. Come on, make sure you subscribe, follow, comment, do all of it. Follow me on wherever you get your podcast, the Never Drop Podcast. It's been a great boxing year. It's continuing to the end of 2023. Make sure you subscribe for all the boxing news as I got you covered. For this episode of the Never Drop Podcast, I'm out. That's all I got for you. Peace.